My name is Michael Friedrich. I'm a senior developer evangelist at GitLab. And I used to be in tech, I would say, for around about 20 years now. I think I found out about Civo at the KubeCon 2 years ago. I think it was an advertisement in that regard. And yeah, at some point, someone told me, hey, managed Kubernetes is not complicated. It's much more like you can spin it up in 30 seconds. And I was like, that's not possible. And so I registered an account and tried it out myself by using the web UI back then. Yeah, and I was surprised it actually works in that short amount of time. And I got like hooked into it because I don't like to wait for things. I just want to try it out and then later on automate it. So in that regard, yeah, I was happy to find Civo. Was attending the Everyone Can Contribute Cafe a while ago. We also like tested integration, and from there, for me, it was like, hey, I can spin up a cluster when I need it. I deploy an application. I can monitor it. I can use it for my demo use cases, which are primarily focused on, I want to deploy an app and I want to monitor it with Prometheus, with OpenTelemetry and things like that. I'm using Civo on the CLI mostly, and sooner or later in Terraform and automation. When I compare it to other cloud providers, I found it very straightforward to get started with Civo. The getting started guides very detailed and easy to use, I would say. The speed or the performance of like getting your cluster up and running is like the 30 seconds. Sometimes it's 60, sometimes it's 120. To be honest, I don't measure that, but it's super fast and it enables me from not just having to wait until everything is spun up. And when I want to delete it, I also need to wait. It's there and I can start working. And yeah, the minimal deployment case for me is I want to deploy an application like a service and the deployment. And from there, it's really easy to download the kubeconfig, to get everything set up. Everything works on the CLI and is very well documented. I spin up specific hardware at Civo and other cloud providers, but I found it very fair and transparent on what I'm spending. And I've also experienced that sometimes I'm just spending $2 or something because it's just a quick test, and then nothing gets charged because it doesn't hit the limit, which is very fortunate for me. But yeah, I think generally speaking, I think the pricing is fair and very transparent on that you see what you're actually spending and not having to worry about trying to understand the invoice later on and figuring out why there was so much spent. Since I'm focusing on the developer and also the ops side, I'm trying to deploy mostly something which gets deployed in a tutorial way. So that people can follow along. We kind of modify the application, and then we, for example, install Prometheus with Prometheus and the operator to monitor the application, collect some metrics, and later on think about, for example, making it more secure with Kyverno, with Open Policy Agent. I would recommend trying out the tutorial on the web front end, which invites you to create some resources and then do the adventure. Because I think like learning step by step is really helpful, especially if you're not familiar with Kubernetes and what is needed to spin it up. if you're an expert in using Kubernetes already, I would recommend checking out the CLI and also the Terraform provider, so you can easily integrate it into your workflows.